Hello there Hollows, and welcome to another video. In this one we'll be discussing what makes the Souls games superior to other video games in my opinion, and why it is that many people say once you've played Dark Souls it tends to ruin other games for you. Now the first reason for this is it doesn't hold your hand or baby you. The game doesn't stop every 2 seconds with a tutorial, and if you die, the game doesn't tell you how to overcome any specific challenge in particular, and it doesn't make the game easier with things like adaptive difficulty, which is becoming much more common in games nowadays. You always need to rise to the challenge yourself. Another reason is that it throws you into the world headfirst, and you have to find your own way by piecing things together yourself. You need to talk to characters and figure out where it is that you need to go. You need to read item descriptions and things to figure stuff out for yourself. You also have the freedom to go wherever you want and do whatever you want without the game ever really restricting your freedom. If you want to choose to kill someone that's important to the story, you can do. The game doesn't take that choice away from you. And if you want to decide you don't want to go somewhere straight away and you want to try and go somewhere else instead, again, you can. The game has such freedom for the player that it really feels like a living, breathing world. Characters also do their own things and don't ever explain to you why. NPCs move around the environment because they're on their own journeys and they're doing their own things as if they are alive in this world with you, which makes such an amazing experience. The story is also deep and enriching if you want it. You can play the game without ever engaging in the story if you want to. It's up to you if you want to invest yourself in it, and if you want to read the hundreds of item descriptions with detailed story beats. That's all up to you. It's all optional whether you want to engage in that deep story, but again, if it's there, it's really fulfilling and enriching. The game also can be played in dozens of different ways. Playing the game as a knight or a sorcerer or pyromancer is completely different. You can play through the game with your fists or with a bow and arrow if you want to. There are so many different ways to approach the game, and you can choose to play it however you want. Play the game however you want. It's entirely up to you. Now, all of these points that I've mentioned are, in my opinion, what make the Souls game special, and why once you've played the Dark Souls game, it makes you not enjoy other games as much, because most games nowadays, they don't do any of these things. Look at modern AAA releases like Call of Duty, the latest God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, or any other big major release nowadays. All of them help you out if you die, and behind the scenes, they make the game a little bit easier through adaptive difficulty. They all tell you exactly what to do in the world. They don't want you to piece things together yourself. You don't have the freedom to do whatever you want to. There may be moments where maybe the world feels a bit more open or it feels a bit more free, but you can't kill an NPC, you can't usually go back and do things in a different order or try and have a bit of freedom to play the game the way you want to play it instead of how the game wants you to play it. This makes the game feel more like a movie as opposed to an engaging adventure that you are really a part of. The story and characters in these games always have a predetermined outcome, and you cannot do anything really to influence what actually happens. The game has a story that it wants to tell, and whilst that can be a good thing, it doesn't make you feel like you're a part of the story, and you can choose to help people not and directly control the narrative. And finally, all of these games can only really be played in one way, or maybe a couple of ways if you really try, but the experience will still be mostly the same. It doesn't feel as drastically different as the Souls games do when you change your class. Playing Dark Souls as standard knight is completely different to playing it as a pyromancer, and it feels massively different. All of these things, you see, they come together to elevate all of the Souls games and FromSoftware Souls-like games and make them better than the competition. I didn't even begin to mention the interconnected level and world design because I've spoken about it several times before, but that's also something that the Souls games do that the majority of other titles nowadays don't even try to do. Does this mean that other games out there aren't good? No, not at all. Sometimes having a controlled experience is fun, but nowadays games are moving further and further away from the things that make the Souls games great, and I think that's why they stand out even more and why the games are starting to sell more over time. The remake of Resident Evil 4 that came out recently completely took away the ability to kill the merchant. Now, it's a small thing, but really it's reflective of the design philosophy of the Resident Evil 4 remake as a whole. They wanted to make the game more in line with modern-day AAA titles instead of focusing on maintaining the authenticity of the original. They wanted to focus on making sure the player gets a steady stream of dopamine instead of allowing them to get lost in the immersive world and truly feel a part of a living, breathing environment. Yes, there is a place for both kinds of games in the market, but in conclusion, this is why people play the Souls games and then struggle to enjoy other games as much. Because once you've had a taste of freedom, you tend to struggle to go back to confinement. Thank you for watching. A shout out to my 2 channel members, Just Another Doug and T-Morts. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you want to become a channel member to help support me keep making high quality videos, then feel free to become a channel member and get exclusive rewards like shoutouts, members only content, and much more. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share this video with anyone you think might enjoy it if you feel it was good enough. Thank you again for watching. This is SoulReborn signing out. Have a good one.